welcome back to DH Deck Building. I am your host, Demo, and incredibly, we have some Kamigawa Neon Dynasty spoilers already, which, I mean, I think the set doesn't come out until February, so I don't know if these were sort of, oops, they slipped out sort of spoilers, or sometimes they'll throw just a couple of cards. Like, I think last year they threw out like one or two cards. Sarolf and I think Toski, they both threw out sort of a couple weeks before Christmas, just sort of get the excitement going for the set. Just wrapped up Crimson Vow a couple weeks ago, so you know it's a little bit much, but that's fine. We got some cards here we can talk about, and the way I'm doing my spoilers from now on is just first reaction. Whatever I can glean off of them from my first take is what I'm going to go with. So we're starting out with Sugo, Devouring Chaos, and of course, first things first, Sugo is an already existing commander, right? Mono red. I'm sure you guys have all seen it before. Deals a whole lot of damage to everyone. This one's black, but it looks like it's also got some red in it. So 3 black Ogre Demon 4/4. You can pay black, sacrifice a creature to scry 2. So no tap ability there, so that is just a continuous ability. I like that a lot. Obviously, it's not a free sack outlet, but it is a repeatable one, which is very notable. And you can pay 2 and a red, so of course, we're talking about a Rakdos commander here. That's very important for our format, right? And then tap, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. When you exile a non-land card this way, Sugo, Devouring Chaos deals damage equal to the exiled card's mana value to any target. Okay. That's a lot to digest. So, first ability, we got a sack outlet here. We want to be sacrificing our creatures to scry 2 because we care about what the top card of our library is. So, exile top card of your library, you may play that card this turn. So, Impulse Draw. Okay, it's something we're definitely used to in red. When you exile a non-land card this way, Sugo, Devouring Chaos deals damage equal. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to obviously want to have creatures in here that you're going to want to sack, right? You're going to want to scry 2 so that you put a non-land card on top of your library, right? Because when you Impulse Draw, if it's a non-land card, it's going to deal damage equal to the exiled card's mana value to any target. And of course, I mean, you could really go nuts here where you could put like a Draco or something on top of your library. I wonder if that's how people are going to build this deck. I don't know if that's the best way. You know, for me, I would want to get the value out of it rather than I just scry a Draco to the top of my library so I can shoot my opponent for, 16? I would rather have like a Rise of the Dark Realms. I mean, that's still 9 damage and it's a very usable card. So for me, I'm not just going to cram a bunch of somewhat maybe useless creatures or cards in this deck just so I can get those high mana values, because then you're just going to be exiling stuff from top of your library and you're not going to be able to actually use it. So I would go sort of in the middle. I would definitely have some high mana value stuff, and obviously you can Vampiric Tutor it or whatever to the top as well. But for me, I am going to probably lean more towards I want to actually get value rather than just shooting my opponent to the face or a creature, right? You know, I think probably more the case I'm going to be shooting creatures with this ability. I think having removal stapled on your commander is always fantastic. Very interesting commander, though. Also an Ogre Demon. That's important to note. And again, Rakdos colors. So you're opening up a lot of options there as well. I definitely think this is going to see some play. I don't think it's going to be too popular. I think people are going to get excited about the whole, I can Draco off the top of my library and shoot my opponent for 16. Yeah. One more commander to talk about right now. And again, I don't know if this is all we're getting. I'm not like right up on all the new news of the day or something or anything like that. I just know it. Like my patrons actually told me these cards came out. That's the only reason I know. They were talking about on Discord. So I thought I'd talk about the 2 that were spoiled. Sushi, the Blazing Sky. 2 red, Dragon Spirit 4/4, Flying and Trample. Okay. When Sushi, the Blazing Sky dies, choose 1. Exile top 2 cards of your library until your next turn, you would play those cards, create 3 treasure tokens. Okay. So we got a Dragon Spirit. That's significant. So you can do a little bit of Dragon Tribal here, obviously. 4/4 flying trample. You know, the flying trample doesn't really play into the other ability at all, I don't think. It has a dies trigger. That's always tough on your commander, right? And in mono red, oh boy, like, you know, you repeatedly having your commander die, that's not great. I mean, if it dies and you let it go to the graveyard, how are you going to get it back in mono red? Is there even a way? I don't think there is. The payoff here even is, you know, impulse draw for 2. That's not great, you know, and or create 3 treasure tokens, also not great. Not great payoff. So, man, this is a tough one. And how many times are you going to let your, like, for me, if I was going to build around this commander, I don't think I would, but if I was going to build around this commander, for me, when your commander dies, you get these little added bonuses. It's just a nice little added bonus. I'm going to build around the fact that my commander is a 4/4 flying trample dragon spirit, and maybe not focus too much on wanting my commander to die. Inga Rune Eyes comes to mind. Very similar. 4 mana, right? So very similar, where I have a commander that it gets this, you know, draw trigger when I die. You draw 3 cards when your commander dies, you know, if there's other creatures that die. And when I did that on my underwhelming commanders, I thought, it doesn't seem like a great payoff. You know, if you're building around that ability where I'm jumping through all these hoops to try to have my commander die and other creatures die, and then my payoff is I get to draw 3 cards. Yeah, that's okay. You know, it's not a huge payoff for jumping through all those hoops and having your commander die and adding on the commander tax and all that. This seems very similar, where the payoff here isn't great. The payoff isn't huge, where I'm getting 3 treasure tokens, or I'm getting a couple of impulse draw off the top of my library. You know, the payoff's not there for, you know, I'm just saying the payoff's not there. I like that that's stapled on the creature as a bonus if your commander dies, but the way I'm building this deck is not going to be, I'm going to jump through a lot of hoops and, you know, put like an Ashnod's Altar in my deck so I can sacrifice my creature, my commander, and then get not much of a payoff, right? Actually, that being said, now, Ashnod's Altar, I sacrifice my Sushi. I get 2 colorless. My commander goes to the graveyard. I get 3 treasure tokens. So now I have 5 mana, right? So I can get 3 red and 2 colorless. So that's almost as, and I would imagine they did that, create 3 treasure. They probably had thought about that, right? So you can't go infinite there. That being said, if you have the red dragon there that increases your treasure tokens, you could get something going there. I mean, obviously your commander tax is increasing every time, so, you know, even there, that's still not great. I'm sure there's some infinite combo here because you are creating treasure tokens. I'm sure someone's going to figure out some infinite combo for this, but again, now you're just jumping through a whole bunch of hoops, and I don't know, I guess you could storm off or something. Ultimately, I think that having, you know, if my commander has a dies trigger, I better be getting some good payoff for that, because then it's got to go back to the especially in mono red, because you can't get it out of the graveyard. You know, if I'm playing a Kokushu deck, at least I can, you know, cast Phyrexian Reclamation and get it back out of the graveyard over and over. I can just let it go to the graveyard and keep getting it back. Don't have to worry about the pay 2 life, obviously. So, but in mono red, I'm just like, I don't think there's any options at all for that, right? So that's a tough one. Anyway, that's it. Just a couple new commanders that came out suddenly. I don't think this was expected at all. I wasn't. I mean, honestly, I'm planning my videos for the next couple of weeks here, and I'm thinking, okay, well, we're not going to get any Neon Dynasty spoilers for at least a few weeks, right? Because the set's not supposed to come out until February, I think. But, you know, I guess I should keep up on these things when I'm trying to plan my schedule and whatnot, because I do want to talk about, especially the commanders, or the actual commanders, I like to talk about when they come out, so we can sort of get, you know, those brewing juices flowing on what directions we can go. So that is it for today. Thanks for tuning in.